the way that I think about being productive is a little bit different than I think a lot of the experts, that it's about doing more or doing faster or even higher value. For me, it's an emotion you feel when you get the results you want. Know that I can't do everything at the same time because I will fail. We're stretched too thin. There's too many things. To be clear, I do love to-do lists. I love them. It's just that we're typically not setting them up in a way that's going to be successful for you. And instead, our to-do list can often be this super overwhelming list. And like it just makes us shut down, get paralyzed, or focus on the wrong things, get very distracted. As a new entrepreneur, you can get very emotionally invested, emotionally drained, overwhelmed, overstretched. And we want to tap into that in order to set yourself up for success.
Welcome to the Entrepreneur's Kitchen. Today I have a special guest for you. I have Mridu, and she is known as the stress squasher. Okay, so if you are an overwhelmed, exhausted, overworked, long to-do list entrepreneur, this is the conversation for you. Mridu, I'd like you to just start by telling us, before you were the stress squasher, what did life look like? What was going on? And how did this all come together?
Sure. First of all, thank you for having me. And you nailed my name, which is really unusual. So that's fantastic. Thank you. My previous career that got me into this was that I was a professional home organizer. Before anybody knew what that was, before there was even a thing like that, I could organize homes like amazing, garages and closets and all the things. But quite frankly, my life was a little bit of a mess in terms of my priorities and my goal setting. I had kids, I was raising a family, taking care of them, running the business. And I felt like I wasn't really getting the meaningful things done. So I went on this personal development journey on focus, goal setting, and came out on the other side a couple years later, just really systemizing my life and my business and knocking goals out the door. And I realized, I'm like, listen, I cannot be the only person, the only business owner, the only professional who is struggling with these things. And so over time, I transitioned from getting organized at home to really systemizing and organizing your whole life, and especially in the workplace.
I love that. You've got the business going, but everything around the business is chaos.
Yeah.
And you're making a revenue, but it's just your life is stressful. I think a lot of people will be at that point. And take us into 3x3x3 method to someone
Oh,
who's
yeah.
never heard of you before, who doesn't
Mhm.
know what this is about. Give us a breakdown.
As a business owner or any work environment, you just have so many things on the to-do list. It's massive. And there's a million places where you could put your time and energy. And when we look at that list first thing in the morning, we often get really overwhelmed. We start procrastinating what we should be doing, or we're mindlessly going through that list over and over and multitasking, not really like getting anything meaningful done. That happens to the best of us. It happens all the time. I realized I just needed to simplify. And that's probably like the core value in my practice is how can we get the meaningful things done in the most simple, easy way? And that's when the 3x3x3 method was created. And essentially what that is picking 3 goals every month. 3 goals. It could be one personal, 2 business, all business, however you want to do it. Again, however it's simplest for you. You pick those 3 goals. And then each week, you pick another 3 goals that are related to those 3, right? So for example, if the 3 goals for the month is you wanted to do a direct marketing campaign, you were going to write a chapter of a book, and you're going to hire an assistant, right? Those are your 3. Then this week, we'd have 3 top goals that are related to one of those. Maybe it's I'm going to do a little bit of writing for the book. I'm going to interview somebody for that job, and I'm going to start working on the social media campaign for that launch. So, and then the third one is the 3x3 is to really keep you focused, on track, accountable is today. When I wake up and I start my day, what are 3 goals that I have every day? Now, they're not always related to the weekly because sometimes just other big priorities have come up during the day and we can't always do that. But at least one of them should be related to what those top 3 weekly goals, which is related to your monthly goals. And so what this does, it keeps you moving and progressing on your top priorities all the time. Because how often do we go by month or quarters gone by? You're like, I spent all that time at the beginning of the year writing these goals out. I'm just not moving forward on them. And those are the things that are typically the most valuable and the most meaningful for you. So that has really helped me. It's something to do with my clients. It really helps keep everybody accountable and on track.
No, I love that. I can see so many uses for this method. I think of the entrepreneur mom
Mm-hmm.
who you've got your family things going on. You also want to take care of yourself, your personal, and then you've got to drive some business. So you've got something to put there for your business, which I think is really great and brings sort of balance to things. I
Yeah.
also found for myself, especially I'm thinking of the person who's maybe just starting a business and you're not sure where to focus. And we've all been taught the to-do list. I don't know. Maybe it was a thing. It
Yeah.
was a thing that if you're going to be productive, you're writing things down and you had a to-do list and you're ticking away as you go. And then that felt really good and you were doing a lot of things. I know you talk about how the to-do list is some kind of a problem. And I think I get what it is, but I need you to explain it because we've all been brought up, most of us, on to-do lists.
Yes. Okay, to be clear, I do love to-do lists. I love them. It's just that we're typically not setting them up in a way that's going to be successful for you. And instead, our to-do list can often be this super overwhelming list. And like it just makes us shut down, get paralyzed, or focus on the wrong things, get very distracted. So often our to-do list, that main to-do list, becomes the catch-all list. It's every future project I've ever thought of, every marketing idea I have, the albums I want to make for my kids one day. I want to clean out the closet. Like it's everything you've ever can think of is on that list. And we really want to just take a step back and say, okay, can I create more of an action list versus just like a brain dump of everything I've ever thought about? Let's get back to what that to-do list is supposed to be, which is an immediate action list. And you can have another list of, hey, here are some future projects. Here's something for next quarter. Or if you're using the 3x3x3, now it simplifies it so much because you can say, hey, on this giant to-do list, what are 3 projects or things that I'm going to accomplish this month? And then let me just focus on the tasks that are related to those 3 for this month and make that my to-do list. And then put the other things aside. And then next month, I can grab some other ones off that list and let that keep growing if you want. That's fine. Keep adding your ideas on the other one. But you want to stay focused on that action list now so you actually take action.
I have to tell you, I'm one of those people who loves to get into the brain dump, and
Oh, yeah.
I get a kick out of doing the things in the brain dump. So I've actually had to like schedule in my weekly schedule that little white space for picking random things from my brain dump of
Mm-hmm.
to-do list to
Yes.
just kind of like make my week not so mundane and just give me that extra little feeling of turning ideas into things, even though they're not my main thing. Like entertainment time or just I don't know what I'd call it, but I don't know. It feels good to do a little of this and that as well as after you've done what you're supposed to do, of course.
It does. Look, we want to feel accomplished. We want to feel successful. We want to check things off the list. Psychologically, we get a lot of satisfaction, motivation, and we build momentum the more we check things off the list. However, just like you said, you just want to be sure that we're also doing the main thing. The main thing is the main thing and not getting caught up in let me just check off the list, check off the list, check off this list, these other smaller tasks that really don't make me feel successful at the end of the day. The way that I think about being productive is a little bit different than I think a lot of the experts, that it's about doing more or doing faster or even higher value. For me, it's an emotion you feel when you get the results you want. So at the end of the day, if those things that you checked off make you feel really great, you're like, I feel amazing, even if I only checked off 2 things or 10 things, but those were all the things that helped me move forward in my goals. Those were typically the ones that I've been procrastinating, but maybe those are the ones that were hard and I feel really successful. That's fantastic. If you've checked off 10 or 20 things off your list, at the end of the day, you still feel like, man, I got nothing done today. We all have those days. Then you're like, that emotion does not make me feel productive. So that's a great measurement of productivity, is how do I feel at the end of the day?
Like you mentioned the psychology. When you do a lot of random things, you get that like quick dopamine of you doing
Yes.
random things. Okay. But at the end of the day, when you know you didn't do anything that actually made real progress as a business owner, that will weigh on you. And an early entrepreneur, that will drive you absolutely crazy because then you think, I'm doing the wrong things, I'm not making progress, and all the self doubt and things creep in, but you're not doing what you're supposed to do. You know, I don't know for you what that journey was like, trying to figure out what's a priority and how to make real progress.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head too. As we're starting off, it's everything. Everything. You're doing the marketing, the branding, and the website, and the sales and the development. It's everything. And it is overwhelming. And I didn't do it well, to be honest, which is why I ended up going down this path of I've really got to learn how to focus and be less distracted. A few things. So one is kind of just we're talking about what is that focus? Like be rigid with yourself. Say, I'm going to pick the three things again for this month. Know that I can't do everything at the same time because I will fail. We're stretched too thin. There's too many things. So start simple, simplify as much as possible and say, these are my three. And then as you're working on those, I would say, as you're doing them, think, is there a way that I can create a system around it or a routine around it or a practice around it, right? So that I can try to do this as whether it's automated, whether it's just the way that I go into it every day. So maybe it's every Monday, I'm going to work on, if you're doing marketing, I'm going to work on my posts for the week. I'm going to post 3 times every week. And every Monday, that's when I'm going to write them or record them or create the images. And that way you're on a routine, it's systemizing every week. Or if you're like, I'm going to do my budgets, my finance, can I actually get those into a spreadsheet instead of working through my emails? Or can I get onto like a FreshBooks or a QuickBooks? Can I implement something that's more automated? So as you're working on those three, always be asking yourself, is there a way for me to simplify? Is there a way for me to automate or create a system around it? Because what happens otherwise, we get so excited as entrepreneurs, we're doing all the things, and then we're 6 months, a year into it, and you're like, this is chaos. Like, there's just no system to any of this. And then it's hard to play catch up, right? It's hard to get back. It's not that you can't do it, it just takes time. So if you're building it along the way, and no, it's a living document or a living system. You're never done. Years and decades into this, I'm never done. It's always going to be evolving, but it's so great to start from the beginning.
So many things that I've gone through as you're talking about the system, and so many things I've learned about myself as well. Things like energy, also switching between tasks and how do I feel about it? Because sometimes you create a schedule or a timetable, and the way you've set it up, you set yourself up to fail because you do something that totally drains you. And then
Yep.
the next thing is something that's totally going to drain you again. And as a result, either you procrastinate or you just don't get to it and feel like you can never do it. But it's because you set yourself up to fail.
Yes.
And I'm thinking about the people who say, I've tried to create a system or I've tried to focus on productivity, but I keep sliding back to overwhelm and I keep spinning wheels. And I just wondered, like, what you'd say to that person to say, okay, how can you think about this? I like you said that this is a living thing. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not a set in stone. So maybe that first way to think about it.
Yeah. So you mentioned how things can be an energy drain. And I've mentioned how I look at productivity from an emotional standpoint. And I think, especially as a new entrepreneur, you can get very emotionally invested, emotionally drained, overwhelmed, overstretched. And we want to tap into that in order to set yourself up for success. So, for example, if you are picking my top 3 things I'm going to do today, I've picked them, I've written them down. How do you create and set up your environment for success before you even jump into number 1? So instead of just like making your list and time blocking it all and saying, I'm going to do them back to back and then feeling bad that you didn't get them done, ask yourself, am I setting myself up for success? For example, if the first thing you're going to do is work on that kind of financial spreadsheet, do you have water next to you? Are you in a well-lit place? Is everything cleared off your desk? Is your phone on Do Not Disturb? Do you have the software that you need? Have you told your kids, I need 1 hour of silence, go play outside? What are you doing to set yourself up to be focused, high energy, almost even excited about the things that don't excite you? Light a candle, put on light music, do things, because it's hard, right? It's hard to focus all day. It's hard to focus on things you're like learning all day long as an entrepreneur. So do these things. So I think we overlook all of that. We overlook internal energy. We overlook external environmental things around you. We overlook like the mental clarity that we need. Sometimes it's even just pumping yourself up a little bit. Like, did I listen to a good affirmation or read something in scripture this morning? Or like, how do I ground myself to be positive and excited and grounded for the day? So all of those all play into sort of your emotional state before you jump into your tasks.
When you're in a corporate environment, if you think of some of the places where people say, if you work for, I don't know, Google or Facebook, they've created that environment for you.
Yeah, right.
The swimming pool is there and the little meetup
Yeah.
place and the little coffee place. And they're taking into account all those emotional things that a person needs to perform at their best.
Yes.
And we're looking at this is what the best companies in the world
Hmm.
do to make sure that their people can be the most productive and do their best. Now, as an entrepreneur, you've not got to set yourself up
Right.
for that. And sometimes you don't think about that. So I
Yeah.
love that you spoke to that.
Yeah. And I think another thing that we do is we just think we're going to work 8 hours straight. Again, I'm here all day. Now I have my own time. I'm just going to work through the day. We need breaks. We need rest. But we also need to self care, not self soothe. So just because we have work for 2 hours doesn't mean I have the rest of the day off, unless that's how you've planned it. But at the same time, you might need a 30-minute break. So use things like timers. Actually use the timer. Let it put the ring on your phone. So I take this 30-minute or 15-minute break where I go walk around. I have my water. I have some protein. I listen to something positive. I throw in laundry, whatever it is. But I come back and then sit. I've recalibrated, re energized, and I do another maybe 1 hour work block. I think that's also very important that we're being realistic about the rest and the pause, but understanding that's also helping your energy and keeping you revitalized and re energized throughout the day.
Oh, for sure. Because who wants that kind of work? If you worked for somebody else and you worked that way, you would be like, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah.
So don't create that kind of environment for yourself. To honor the hardness of the journey and the
Hmm.
length of the journey that you're on, you want to keep yourself in the game and keep yourself energized and pumped to do what you need to do. Let's talk about how to scale. Because I think there are people who are thinking about, okay, protecting my priorities and changing the way I lead and delegate and grow my business. Do you think that there are seasons of chaos that are okay?
Yeah, that's a great question. And yes, I do. I think that there are going to be times that are just busier, more chaotic than others. And that's typically in the time of growth, right? When you're scaling, when you're growing. And I love that you said seasons because I love to think of that, especially when I'm planning my year at the beginning of the year. Or if we're back to the 3 by 3, we're thinking of that month. If you're really doing that work up front, you're like, this is going to be a really busy month because this is a big goal that I have or a big project. And I'll do that so I can create the cadence so that next month or next season, it's a little bit more in my control. So I can put in that heavy time and heavy work and heavy lift right now. So maybe I can have more time with my kids over the summer months. And then maybe I know in the fall when they're back in school, I'm going to really pump it up, work really hard, get more in it so that I can again have that time over the holidays to be with my family and be a little bit more present and active. So yes, I think that absolutely. And that's where planning comes in. And it's to know that sort of ahead of time, it changes everything. You can change all of your circumstances then. You're like, hey, first of all, I can communicate this to my loved ones, to my team at home, to my team at work. So everybody's expectations are set. I can maybe get extra care for my family or my team. Maybe we decide we're going to spend a little more of our budget during that time for dinners, like eating in, and the other times we're going to scale back. So you can start making all these preparations if you're thinking about that ahead of time. And then it also takes the pressure off because once you're like, oh, I'm in this season of a little bit more chaos or this month of chaos, you let yourself do it without feeling really guilty about it. If there's no prep, there's no planning, then you fall into it and you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, this is horrible. And you feel just that mom guilt or boss guilt or all that kind of stuff.
Especially now that it's summer over there, you hear about it a lot, especially from moms who are entrepreneurs, feeling I've got to spend time with my kids. It's the summertime, but
Yes.
gosh, the business. But
Yeah.
if you've done that planning and that knowing that you're adjusting things in preparation for what's coming ahead, I love that aspect of your method that I don't know how you termed it, that it's a living thing.
Yes, it's never a one and done. It's just always evolving. And that's so exciting about it. I think it also, if you can go in with that kind of attitude that this is so exciting, I get to change and evolve and grow all the time through the failure, through the success, it becomes less like of a burden that things aren't staying the same. And by the way, if you want things to stay the same, we shouldn't be an entrepreneur for sure.
The 333 of the month, the
Mhm.
next month builds on the previous one, which I thought that's really cool because I think sometimes we don't get traction because we're not making sure that our actions are compounding.
Mhm.
I don't know if I'm clear with that. That if you sort of like do this, and nothing is compounding, of course, you can't grasp that momentum
Yeah.
and that traction because you're not building on top of something. So
Yeah.
if you have that productivity method that's helping you grasp momentum, I think that's a really important thing.
Yeah. And if you can even look at it from a quarterly level, that I don't want to get too far back. This can feel overwhelming, but for some people, again, it can simplify it. You're like, let me look out for the next 3 months. And if I themed those 3 months, if I knew my three goals for those 3 months, that's how you can, like you said, build one on top of the other, build that momentum and keep going and know you have a plan in place to look forward to.
If you can tell me something that stands out to you in the use of your method.
Yeah. Gosh, so many. I do a lot of one-on-one work with clients, and I think they come probably very similar, maybe challenges in your audience. Again, just the same. I have so many things to do. I'm unfocused. I'm distracted. I'm stretched too thin. And this either is causing me to A, procrastinate or to just not do what I'm supposed to be doing or spending my time and feeling like I got nothing done. So I think the best result is we can start in, let's just say January, because it's easy to say, and then look by March and then look at June and say, wow, that's so much accomplished. I got more accomplished in 3 months or 6 months than I have in a year and a half or 2 years before, simply because I was dialed into what I wanted to do. Like we have the focus, we have the plan, we have the priorities. And along the way, you're building the system. So it all folds in. So a great, like in a very specific example was I had a client recently who didn't really have a sales structure. She was working her butt off and not making any sales. So we really broke this down and said, okay, let's kind of get your messaging for 1 month. Next month was marketing. And then the third month was networking. And the fourth month was really focusing on sales. And by the end of that period, she'd catapulted what she had done in the entire year prior, really in that 3 or 4 months, because we had just slowed down, really focused, systemized these areas so that when she came out, she had like true actual results. And so it was just a beautiful way to see this all come together.
And that is really what it is. That's the key. Sometimes people think it's something mystical,
Yeah.
and it is just that, like focusing on the right thing at the right time. And because sometimes you're just so overwhelmed, but there's no plan. You're just overwhelmed and you're just here, there, here, there, here, there at the tactical level, but you haven't created a plan to follow. And sometimes you create a plan, doesn't have to be perfect, but you should follow it so that you can see the progress that you're making and you can learn from it. You don't learn from jumping all over the place, which is a temptation when you want to make things happen, as most entrepreneurs tend to go. That's awesome. Now, I'm interested in sort of tools because I know people, I just talked about the tactical. Yeah, people love the tactical. They love the tools and they love the what can I do right now kind of things.
Again, I want to keep your life as simple as possible. Let's not overdo this. Let's get 10,000 apps. So one of my best friends is Google Calendar, like the whole G Suite, basically, the whole Google Suite. So Google Calendar, my Gmail, all of their tools like their Sheets and Word and Google Drive, and just keeping everything very organized on that. And if I had nothing else, if I just had that, I could essentially run most of my business. So I would say start there. You're like, let's just simplify and keep everything in one place. And if you're an Outlook person, then fine. Use the Outlook and the Outlook task and the Outlook calendar, but just keep things together so that you're all over. So streamline it and simplify it. Other tools. So one that I absolutely love is called Sunsama, Sunsama. It is a calendaring tool. So it actually integrates with my project management tool, which I use Asana, and also with my Google Calendar. And what I like about it, why it's different to Google Calendar, because it actually lets you pull your tasks over and block them on the calendar. I don't know why. There's something about it that's just super simple, very visual, really keeps me having a plan, as we've been talking about, and help me stay accountable every day. Those are my key tools: the Google Suite, Asana for project management, and Sunsama for kind of just like my everyday planning.
Thank you for that, Mridu. Everyone's talking about AI right now and wondering how to integrate AI or if you're integrating AI into being more productive.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with ChatGPT. It's probably most of the world is right now. Obsessed. I think I use it 40 times a day. The way that I use it is, again, really simple. If I'm responding to emails, I typically will write something on my own, throw it in ChatGPT, and say, make it better. And it usually will simplify it, restructure it, just make it formatted better. So that's fantastic. Use it for that. Just brainstorming, especially as an entrepreneur, like, what is the best system for my email management? What is the best system for my project management? Ask it questions. It is your brainstorming consultant right there at your fingertips. Just asking questions, going deeper, like, okay, but this doesn't work for me and this is my habit. It's going to give you some great ideas and some great things to just brainstorm and jump off of, some great ideas. And then I use it more so for generating ideas for maybe social media or like my blog or my podcast. Here, I have an idea, but help me flush this out. Or what are some other things I'm not thinking about? So again, it does a great job there. So I'd say everything from just management, systemizing, using ChatGPT for a lot of things.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the biggest time saver
Yeah.
if you're using it correctly. Especially like for me, I find if I have something that needs to be summarized,
Mhm.
before I'd have to think of the points myself
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
figure out what was important in that and that is mentally draining.
100%. Yeah, and if anyone's not using it, I've used it, but also just the microphone, the voice tool there is amazing. You don't have to even type it anymore. Just say whatever's on your mind, a stream of consciousness, and it's going to produce something incredible. So I have it on my phone, on my laptop, on all my devices. So at any time I have a thought, I can just talk right into it.
Oh, that's one I haven't done. So
No, it's
definitely
great.
that. Because sometimes I think of things and then I just got to note it somewhere and then I'm like, I'll
Yeah.
check on that later.
Yeah.
But going direct and just using the voice thing, that definitely works. Marita, I wanted to ask you, what are you excited about personally right now? And as you look out into the marketplace, what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, personally, it's personal professional mix. I actually do think the whole AI and just what's coming is super exciting because I think we use all these tools personally and professionally. One that's, oh gosh, what is it called? There's one that I just started using. Now I'm forgetting the name. Okay, it'll come to me while we're talking, but it's a great tool that's helping to record meetings, like any type of meeting or just conversations or Zoom meetings. So that's really great. And so I'm just excited about how much easier in many ways, like these tools are going to keep making our lives more simplifying, helping us brainstorm. And what that does, though, more than anything, it gives us room to do what we do better. Personally, I'm a really creative person. I have so many ideas, I have so much creativity that it'll allow me now to have space in my room for more of those fun things versus like getting caught in how do I set up the system and how do I do this? So I'm really excited about that, both personally and professionally. And then personally, I also recently became an empty nester. So it's a whole new world for me without kids at home. So I'm excited about travel, writing another book, and traveling more also for work and getting on some bigger stages.
Oh, wow, that's exciting. Congratulations for that. It's a big thing
Yeah.
to raise a family.
It's a big thing. Yeah.
So, we should pat you on the back and say, oh,
That's right.
congratulations to that. That's awesome. I also love what you said about creating more space. I recently read somewhere that the biggest problem that entrepreneurs have and small business owners have is sometimes we don't create enough time for mastery. We
Yeah.
get caught up in the doing,
Yep.
and then we never take whatever it is that's our genius to the level that we can take it because we're
Yeah.
up to here and things to do. And it's great that when you organize your life that way and you can get more done in less time and use the tools and use the AI and create space for mastery, create space for fun, create space for creativity. I think that's exciting right now. Really exciting for
It really is. Oh, and I
things.
remember the tool. I said I'd remember while we were talking.
Yeah.
It's called Granola. And it's amazing. And it has changed again, like ChatGPT, it's just changed my life.
Okay, we've got to get on that.
Yeah.
Audience, please do get on that.
Yeah.
Tell us, where can people learn more about you? And you mentioned you've got a podcast. If you can tell us the
Yes.
details for that.
Yeah. I'm a little bit of a hiatus right now, but I have over 200 episodes and anyone can go back to listen to. And it is targeted for the women business owner. So it is called Productivity on Purpose. You can find it on all the places where you find podcasts, but you can find me at anywhere on Life is Organized. My website, there's lots of freebies there for you, how to really take control of your life, be less overwhelmed. And then also Mridu Parikh on LinkedIn. I'm probably most active over there.
Great. Thank you so much. And Mridu, thank you for pulling up a chair onto the entrepreneur's kitchen table and sharing all this with our audience. Audience, please create that space for fun, for family, for the things that matter most, and to get yourself energized and doing the things you need to do for your business. So excited for that. Thank you very much, Mridu.
Priscilla, thank you so much for having me.